But this happened when I was a boy. And it was, I must say, something I will never, of course, forget. And I see it as clearly as it had happened yesterday. It was in 1935. I was just, well, let me see, I was then 7 years old. And I still remember it as it happened yesterday.
Oh.
Then I went to a Christmas party in a dance hall in Keflavik. And this was a very old wooden house. It was quite near my home. Actually, there was just a field between my home and the dance hall. There was no policeman there, and he had gone to Reykjavik the day before. But they who held this party, they had promised him to have water buckets all along the walls and a canvas, big piece of canvas, if something happened. Because in the middle of the floor they had a Christmas tree with live candles. And he had told them to be able to hold this party, they had to have some secure water and canvas, but they had not.
Because he wasn't there.
Yeah. As I was 7 years old, my party started at 2 o'clock and at 4 o'clock. But my brother, who was 4 years older than I am, his party started at 7 o'clock, I think, and it was supposed to be till 11 or something like that. But I very much wanted to go with him.
Of course.
And I was allowed to go with him. And we were having chocolate you know, where on a platform. So we saw very clearly over the dance floor.
Yes.
And all the crowds there, and I must say the house was packed with children, and with just few adults who took care of everything there. And beside there was also the parson. And then I wasn't facing the dancing kids. I turned my back to them, but then suddenly this happened. I saw all the cups on the table hopping to and fro, and the children in front of me, they stood on their bench and screaming. And so I turned back, and then I saw the tree was on fire. And my brother jumped up, grabbed my shoulder, and ran across the floor, right out to the fire, and to one of the windows there, and broke it and threw me out.
Your brother was pretty good.
And a few men outside caught me when I came out. He himself came after, but just these few moments while I was jumping out, his hair caught fire. Just a little. When I got out, I was so afraid I ran home. And what I saw when I came home, I'll never in my life forget. There was a woman next door. She was standing there in the middle of the street with her hands up to the heaven, to the sky, and she was shouting up to the sky, "Oh God, God, please save my son, save my son." And she was crying. And then I was afraid when I saw her.
Yes.
I ran in, but there was nobody at home. Not a person at home. So I was left alone there.
Oh!
And all over I saw the lights from the fire, because it came through our windows facing the fire.
Yes.
My mother, when she saw this, she ran to the dance hall, and she knew we were in there. And she very much tried to get in, but there was very many trying to get out that she wasn't able to get very far. But she almost fell when she was trying to get in, but then she looked down, and there she saw a very old lady laying on the floor, and she managed to help her out. A boy, he was about 15 years old, he knew his sister was in there, and he was able to get in, but his sister was already outside, but he burned inside.
Oh, he went in looking for
Yeah.
Oh.
And there we lost 7 children and 2 old women. But the strange thing is that before this happened, there was a boy in Keflavik who was second sighted,
Yes.
and he was about 11 or 12 years old when this happened. But he never went into the dance hall. And his friends were always telling him to come in. But he said always, no, I'm not going in there. Why not, they said. There's a giant, and he is shaking the trees. And they were just laughing at him. But this he said before this happened.
Is that right?
He's a big, huge man. He's shaking the tree. So I won't go in there, he said. And I'm not going to have anything, not chocolate or anything. Just going to sit here. Outside in the hall.
And this was a Christmas party.
Yeah, but it is very strange though, that though he didn't go in there, he burned very severely.
He did.
Yeah, because there was a mess in the hall. Everybody trying to get out. From the main hall, or from the main dance hall, there were 2 doors, and the doors opened in. And in front of one of them were a bench. So that door was completely blocked. But the other one, when all the children tried to run out, then they closed the door, and there were 4 men trying to push it open. But they were always the force from inside was so very heavy that they were almost not able to have them open. My friend, who just died a few weeks ago, and the son of this mother who was crying, he was quite near the tree when this happened. And then when he saw everybody was trying to reach the door and also the windows, and he was far behind all the children, then suddenly a very bright idea struck his mind. He lay down on the floor and crawled underneath between their feet, and he managed to get to the door, but he lost one of his shoes there.
And this is the son of the woman that was...
Yeah, but he managed to crawl underneath between the feet.
But he got out.
But he got out underneath. But when this house was finally burned down, there wasn't a piece of wall that didn't burn, because there was no fire engine. But they were very primitive fire engine. They were just pumping water up and down, but very little water came out of the hose. Mm-hmm. But after the fire was out, they had to drive up to the moors in trucks and almost every car they had, and light up the moors, because very many children were so afraid that they just ran from the village up to the moors. They were so frightened, and they were trying to find them in the dark here, where Keflavik is now, where the new section of Keflavik is now. And I still remember seeing the beams all over the moor, trying to find the
Lost children.
They were hiding there because they were so afraid of the fire. They were just hiding in the dark.
Oh, isn't that horrible?
But the next day was even worse. Then I sat at the window in our sitting room and looked out. Next to our house is a church. And all day long, men were shoveling, digging in the ruins, and they were looking for bones or corpse. And they had barrels, and they carried all the bones covered with white sheet into the church. And I still see them as they are digging up and carrying the bones into the church. And it was said that they found one old lady there. They found her skeleton, and in her arm was a little baby. She had been carrying. They found it like that underneath the ruins. But very many years after this, there was no Christmas party in Keflavik, and we had no Christmas tree for a long period after that. Not until we had electricity.
Is that right? Even at your home?
No Christmas tree at all.
Not even the next year?
No, with Christmas light alive, no. We mostly lived in wooden houses. Two of my best friends, they were very badly burned. One is works here in the control tower. His ears are burned down like this to the head, and his brother lost all his hair.
Does it grow back?
No, he has a wig.
When you lose your hair on a fire, does it just go away?
No, it was completely bald-headed after that. My schoolmate who sat beside me at school, he was so very severely burned in this fire, but he was alive when after the fire. He was sent to Reykjavik. There was no hospital in Keflavik. And I heard that he was so badly burned that on the bad road to Reykjavik, he lost the fingers. They fell off. He was burned so badly.
He was lucky he lived.
Yeah, but he died on the way to Reykjavik. But he was almost falling apart to Reykjavik. And I still remember coming to school and see his empty seat there.
And you were 7 years old.
I was 7 years old. And I see it as clearly as it happened yesterday.